Could Omarion Hampton challenge Ashton Genty as the best running back in this draft? Here's where he actually deserves to go. Omarion Hampton is an incredibly powerful running back prospect. Ryan, where does he fit in this running back class for you?
I mean, for me personally, he is somewhere in the later top 5 running backs in this class. But if I'm being predictive, I do think he is the favorite to be the second running back off the board behind Ashton Genty because of the physicality, the production, and then just age as well. He's only 21 years old. So I think the NFL is going to love a player like Omarion Hampton for a downhill running system.
The thing that I love about Omarion Hampton, I think in an offense in the NFL that likes to establish the run with a physical presence, he's that perfect guy. He runs in the 4.4s at 220 pounds. He's got that pickup that we need in short areas. Not going to really run past dudes with these huge home run, long rushing attempts where he's blowing past players. But Ryan, what gets me so excited is just to see the power that he's able to have when he delivers blows to defenders who are unsuccessfully trying to tackle him. That's why I'm all in on this guy being my second running back in the class.
You know, I always talk about nuance from a running perspective, but there's nothing really nuanced about Omarion Hampton. He's rugged, right? Like, he's a guy that is going to get downhill. He's going to be physical. He's going to work for second effort runs. He is a guy that in those tough, gritty situations, he's going to try to find extra effort runs. I imagine if he hits in the NFL, he's going to be one of these guys that we're always talking about for a break tackle perspective, from a second effort yards after contact perspective. That's where you're getting Omarion Hampton. You're getting effort, physicality, and second effort runs a whole lot.
That's why I think he's going to be really highly coveted in this draft, because there's not a lot of power backs that have the athleticism that he does. And I think that a lot of NFL teams will take shots on physical runners that are much slower later on in the draft and see what they can get out of him. But the fact that he's going to be able to be successful in the NFL in short yardage situations, that's why I think NFL teams are going to want to have that first down guy that's going to set the tone, pick up 3-4 yards, and then the offense can get rolling and can get into a rhythm. If we're going to discuss some of the weaknesses, though, you're not as high, if people can't tell, you're not as high on him as I am.
Right.
What are the weaknesses that you identify for Hampton?
I just personally value in the running back position making guys miss in tight quarters and avoiding contact in a decent amount, especially early on in reps. If I want excitement, I'm going to pop on Omarion Hampton because he's going to break a ton of tackles. He's going to create second effort runs. But I do think in a running back position that is such a short shelf life, right, of taking so many hits and having a shorter career, this type of running style is not conducive to hopefully long-term success. I do think that nuance is an important thing of running back. I want to see guys that can make guys miss in tight quarters. I want to see guys that can avoid contact a lot of the times. I do worry about this tough, rugged running style being able to sustain contact, sustain durability. That's my biggest question of Omarion Hampton. He's a good runner. He's a talented runner. He's a super physical runner. But does he have the nuance to be able to make players miss in tighter spaces? That's why I'm a little bit lower than on Hampton comparative to maybe you.
He's definitely a guy that's a kick ass and ask questions later type of approach, which like I see where you're coming from. I don't completely agree that I think that that's something I'm worried about, because running backs, I don't need them to have long 12-year careers. If I draft him and he's great for the 5 years that I have him on my team, I think that is a successful career out of Omarion Hampton. Now, Hampton's probably not thinking the same thing because he probably wants to play in the NFL for a very long time. My only other weakness, and I know he ran 4.46 on film, he doesn't have that breakaway speed. It's not a weakness that I'm super concerned about because I think that he's still going to perform well in the role that the NFL is going to deploy him as an early down running back. To talk about his Oh, go ahead.
I'm just so mad at you, dude. We just spent like 15 minutes before this, and you were selling me on how much long speed he has. You were selling me on it.
No. The argument that we were having is we were trying to come up with a pro comp, and I was trying to argue that the acceleration that he has is important when we were coming up with the pro comp. Sure, I don't think that he's a long speed guy. I don't think he's going to, run from the 10-yard line to the end zone faster than anybody else. I just think that his acceleration is tremendous, which is why we needed to hit the home run on the pro comp, which we'll get to later. Background, though, this is a guy who was a former 4-star recruit in the 2022 class, committed to North Carolina, played for Mac Brown, and was the 11th ranked running back in that 2022 group.
And he was tremendous. Obviously, chose to stay in the state of North Carolina. Went to, I thought this was interesting, Cleveland High School. I didn't know there was a Cleveland High School in the state of North Carolina, which is kind of funny. But he chose North Carolina to stay in the home state over Penn State, over Auburn, over Florida. He had a long list. I think he had like 20-something offers coming out of the state of North Carolina. Like you said, he was a 4-star, borderline top 150 overall recruit on various platforms coming out of Cleveland High School. So, highly recruited kid. Mac Brown, the North Carolina Tar Heel program, got him to stay in the state, which is obviously a massive victory for North Carolina. And 3 years later, now he's a potential top 50 overall selection.
Pro comp time. This is where you and I were just arguing for the last 10 minutes as we were preparing to go
25 minutes. 25 minutes.
No, we weren't. It was for 10 minutes. I am all in on him being Marshawn Lynch. I think that he 100% could be Marshawn Lynch. Around 6 feet tall. Marshawn Lynch, I think it was like 5'11-ish, ran a 4.48 at his NFL combine, had 20 bench reps, 35.5-inch vertical, 125 inches on the broad. This was an explosive dude who wanted to inflict pain on whoever was trying to tackle him. And he had a long, successful career. I see that with Omarion Hampton. I see hey, I'm going to run through this dude's chest. I'm going to run through this MFer's face, and I'm going to pick up the yards that I want. If Omarion Hampton hits in the NFL, I think he can have the same level of impact as Marshawn Lynch.
Man, that's a big comp. It is a big comp. I will say, though, I do like it from a play style perspective. I do think Hampton runs violently. I think he seeks contact, and I don't think that he shies away from any sort of tackler or contact. So I like the play style comp. Comparing to someone like Marshawn Lynch, who was one of the better running backs in the NFL for a decent amount of time, I think is a little bit, it's a confident comp, but I respect the play style aspect of how we kind of coin him to a guy like a Marshawn Lynch. It does make sense, beast mode in a vacuum.
Folks, let us know in the comments below, what team do you want to see Omarion Hampton play for? Hit that like button and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.